What is up, guys? It is your boy Tay with No Cap the Podcast, and we have a very special episode tonight. Yes. So I met this young lady on TikTok, because where else would I meet her, right? I know. Um, I met her on TikTok, and I saw her live, and she was actually cooking. So, I did the normal Tay thing and I said, "Hey, what's up? You want to be interviewed on my podcast?" And she replied, she said, "Yes." So we set it up. So I did a little research and come to find out she is an exotic pet owner. Now, I know what you're saying. I saw the thumbnail, Tay. I saw it. Does she have monkeys and parrots and stuff? She got pets. She got pets. It's not just your average cats and dogs and birds, but I'm gonna stop talking now and we're gonna bring her on in here. So I want y'all everybody to welcome Miss Fairy.
What's up? I put my hair up. I got a little bit warm.
Welcome. How's everything going for you today?
I'm doing good today. I'm doing good today. I woke up to like a whole new mountain in that, there it is, in that mouse enclosure there this morning. And
hmm
I got my buddy Hoodoo right here. I'm doing good. How about you?
So I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So just let everybody know where you're from, like what do you do, and how's everything going with you so far?
I'm in Arkansas. That's where we're at. Well, I do a few things, but on live, I cook sometimes, I paint sometimes. I keep forgetting the camera's backwards. These are actually my works in here, and then we breed exotic animals. Where you at, dude? Wherever his face went a second ago. This is Hoodoo.
Yeah.
He's one of our animals. I have like a lot of snakes. We have like 30 snakes. And sometimes I play video games too. I usually stream video games actually. Fortnite is pretty much my most common stream thing that I do on there.
Okay. You said 30 snakes?
Hmm. Yeah,
30.
and five tarantulas and two large species of lizards and four leopard geckos and a pixie frog, which is an African bullfrog, and they get like 10 inches around. And right now he's a little baby. His name is Pudge. And a hedgehog in my son's room, right back here in this room.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
So what got you into animal breeding?
Um, Keeping animals. I have always loved snakes and lizards and reptiles, like amphibians. Like, dude, I was no stranger to playing in the mud and climbing trees and jumping into ponds and lakes without even thinking about it, just because I saw a snake or a frog and I wanted to go get it and hold it for a minute. And it just started as like a fascination. I was definitely one of those kids that was totally hi hoodoo, totally into Steve Irwin growing up, and it turned into eventually me owning a lot of snakes thanks to my current boyfriend, and starting to breed exotic animals. It actually was a thing that the two of us do together. I just happened to be the face of the exotic animal breeding part of it.
Okay. So
It's like
like
half
when pe
or his.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
like when people think about exotic animals, like what do you define as an exotic animal?
Personally, I think an exotic animal is something that you wouldn't see every day as a pet. I think there's like a specific category. I like to think of exotic animals as like snakes or raccoons. People have raccoons for pets. Foxes, birds of prey, lizards, frogs, stuff like that. I think even bugs, like because we keep special types of isopods in all of our bioactive enclosures, set up like that, like with plants and dirt and stuff, to keep our snakes enclosures really healthy. The ones that are on display in enclosures, and it allows us to not even have to clean up in the enclosure after them because the little critters in there do that for us. But exotic animals to me can mean like, a variety of things. Like we have tarantulas, so that's exotic animals. But basically, I think it's something that's not your everyday pet. Like when I think exotic animals, I definitely don't think ferrets. I don't think rabbits. I don't think really, I mean, some fish, definitely some fish, and like certain types of shrimp and stuff like that. But I think it's more your not typical everyday thing that you keep,
Okay, okay.
Like I've had
So
pet too in the past.
you said pet rabbits?
Rats.
Oh, rats, rats.
Yeah, they
Okay.
used to breed rats, but I'm highly allergic to them now.
Oh, okay. So me, be honest, the only kind of pet I had was a dog, a goldfish, and I've had like three different types of cat. I think the most exotic cat that I had, or I would consider exotic, is a Savannah cat.
Ooh, that's definitely
Yeah.
an exotic animal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
definitely
that
a far away animal.
yeah. So I had that cat when I lived in Japan. I lived in Japan for 3 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I met a guy over there and he was like selling, I thought it was a regular kitten. He was like, "Oh, it's a Savannah cat." And it was like really small. I'm like, okay. And then
It tricked you.
I'm like, yeah, he definitely did trick me. So I'm like, okay, so I bring it in my house, it's cute and whatnot, and like months turned into years, and this cat is the size of a full-grown pit bull.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they're very, very territorial.
Yeah, they are.
Like
Yeah.
I could not like invite in people in my house that the cat didn't know. Like I had to go through a whole process. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, take your shoes off
Introductions
at
and
the door.
everything.
Yeah, so I'm like, take your shoes off at the door
Oh my gosh.
and like just do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Yeah,
but
definitely. Yeah, Savannah cats are definitely in the category of exotic. I would put wolf dogs also in the category of exotic animals because that's also far and away, and it takes a very specific type of handling to properly have wolf dogs. You know.
wolf dogs.
Mm-hmm. And that
Hmm.
is a dog with wolf content in it. So I owned one that was over, her father was over 64% wolf, and she was 34% wolf. And that sounds like not a lot, but it is a lot to, it definitely massively determines their personality and their handleability and their trainability and how much they value you and how you can socialize with them.
Okay, okay. So have you ever been bitten by one of your pets? Like a
Oh, yeah.
snake or anything?
Oh yes, yeah. One of my snakes, I'll take her out in a second. I'll go grab her, because she's fucking gorgeous, and I love showing her off. She's a gopher snake. Her name is Honey, and she has bit me a lot. She's
Mm,
bit me, and she eventually will be a 9 foot snake. So I have to hold her more often to get her more used to the handling, so she stops being so defensive. Because it's a lot of people would think, oh, that's a really aggressive, mean animal, but actually, gopher snakes are very scared snakes, terrified of everything. Like imagine a person who's afraid of their shadow. That's a gopher
mm.
snake, except they're really loud about it.
Okay, okay.
So they're just really scared.
Yeah. So what advice would you give? I'm gonna transition to a little bit of your TikTok.
Okay.
So what made you want to start a TikTok?
It actually started when I was running a homestead. Like 2 years ago, or in 2022, I was running a small homestead. I was way different living situation, and I was getting like still living with my daughter's dad, my ex-husband, who I'm not with anymore. And I was running like I was raising a special type of chicken that someone had started a new breed, and I was helping them breed out the lack of functionality and basically like there's some kinks, when you're breeding animals there's always going to be some genetic kinks. There's going to be some like personality issues or color problems, sometimes even reproduction issues. And the only way to continue your breeding in those cases is to obviously cull the animal and continue moving on. So with farm animals that's very different. But this breed was so cool and unique to me, and it wasn't just like, oh man, this breed's really cool. This breed had the ability, if we had been able to continue working with it, to totally change the uh, foundation of hobby farming with chickens. This breed was not only show quality beautiful with iridescent colored feathers and just absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. They were phenomenal egg layers. The eggs were duck sized almost, and these chickens were almost 5 pounds a bird at fully grown and ready to butcher. That means that people who hobby farmed these birds would have been able to secure eggs and meat during every single winter. Their hatch rate was excellent. Their male to female ratio was excellent. So that's what got me into it, was that I wanted to share that breed with people. And then I ended up doing other things like meat rabbits and sharing information about how we kept our meat rabbits. And it just kind of evolved from there, into like a, here's kind of what I'm doing thing. And then eventually, where are you trying to go, dude? And then eventually it turned into these dudes. And now it's Fortnite gaming and cooking sometimes, and a little bit of my mental health stuff that I'm trying to, like, get started on my page as well.
Okay, okay. So your TikTok has been kind of like mine. Mine started like a little bit here, a little bit there.
Hmm.
And but the focus still remained on some type of animal breeding. That's what getting from this.
Yes. Yeah, it did
Um,
with the pages. It definitely did.
yeah, definitely. Um, what advice? Because obviously you blew up on TikTok a little bit. So what advice would you give to somebody just starting out on TikTok?
I don't feel like I blew up. That's so crazy to hear that.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't even think about that. Like, I don't know. I keep posting. Like, if you think it's, and like, do the silly thing. Do the silly thing for sure. Cuz I will say that my page that's about my dissociative identity disorder, um that page is going crazy right now, and it's just because we're just sharing honest, real experiences that we're having as a system, and like sharing it in fun, silly ways, and cooking stuff. And like, I don't know, some of that stuff just seems to really resonate with people. I guess my best advice is just be you and post about it. Like, be
Hmm.
you and post about it. And don't be afraid to be who you are. Like, keep your boundaries. That's been really hard for me, learning how to keep boundaries, especially since I started streaming live. Um, and I think once you have them, like, don't be afraid if life changes a little bit, and so do your boundaries, you know?
Definitely. Definitely. That's
But I
what
would say keep posting.
yeah, that's one thing that excuse me. That's one thing that I get from everybody that I interview on this podcast. Like when I come into the lives and I ask people, and one of the main questions that I get is like, "Oh, why me? Like I'm not that important. Like I don't think I blew up like I said I the numbers say I do." But I'm like, you don't have to be really huge for me to interview you on my podcast.
Mhm.
And that's like where it started for me because I like hearing people's stories. That's basically what it is.
That's awesome.
I like hearing people's stories. I like giving people a platform to talk on. And if I can learn something new, it's a win for me. Like
Yeah.
like I didn't know chickens could have iridescent feathers. Like I did not know that.
Gosh,
So
yes. Yes, and show quality chickens are so expensive, dude. But the most important thing is those show quality birds are beautiful, but they're useless. They're completely useless on the farm front. They don't lay enough eggs, or if they do lay enough eggs, it's not for long enough in the year, or the bird doesn't get big enough to eat. They're
hmm,
pointless birds. They're just pretty, but they're pointless. So this breed was so cool to me because it was beautiful, and it literally checked off all the boxes every homesteader would want, you know?
okay, okay. And I think I heard one of your little mices trying to say hello back there. So,
Yeah, they are fighting so hard in that box. It's because we added some new babies that were done weaning, and so they're territorial and they're fighting with the other ones in there about space.
mm,
And we've got some new girls in the box, so they
yeah.
do that.
So, my next question for you is if you can create any breed of animal, what animal would it be and why?
If I could create a breed, like
Create,
breed my
yeah.
own special line of something,
Mm-hmm.
uh oh, water snakes. Water snakes hold a really special place in my heart, and they are absolutely educationally beneficial to our children and future generations of people, because they look and behave exactly the same way that a water moccasin looks and behaves. Where you find water snakes, you will always find water moccasins. Remember that. That's really important, because it will save you when you're out in the wild, and maybe even a water moccasin. Because water snakes have very special libel bars on their lips that are absolutely distinguishable from any distance away, and they do not appear on moccasins. And there are so few of them, and there's not as much appreciation for the wild variant as I would like. And so, if I could make that different, I would do so by breeding something of them, like a variant color of them that was so eye catching that people would want to know what species of snake this is and start doing the research on it and learning for themselves. Because to me, like that personal public education about our wild animals, that's the purpose for keeping exotic animals. He's not just here to be cute. He is a great example of teaching people that snakes aren't these monsters that people think they can be, that spiritual connotation of evil and all that stuff. And so they're inherently mean or nasty or unfeeling. That is not true. Hoodoo is
Mm-hmm.
very specific to me. Hoodoo loves me very much. And my boyfriend, I have several snakes in the house that my boyfriend can't put his hands on because they do not like him. And they'll see his face and immediately go from being calm to upset and showing it until I have them. And then they'll calm down, you know? And so,
Mm,
like, my whole thing is I want that would bring the best attention to one of my favorite species of snakes. And that would bring more awareness. And that means less people would be bitten and less people would be afraid. So less of those snakes would die. And those snakes are really important to our ecosystem, like extremely important to our ecosystem, especially the southern wetlands ecosystems,
okay. Okay.
since that's where they live.
Okay. Yeah, because like growing up, I'm gonna tell you a little story about my encounter with my first ever snake.
Uh
So
oh.
I was born and raised in New York. So I grew up like, city kid,
Mm-hmm.
but I lived right across the street from the Bronx Zoo. So
Ooh.
in elementary school, they would take us to like on these little trips to the Bronx Zoo, and they would take us in like this. I guess it was a classroom room. They would have us sit in a circle, and they
Mm-hmm.
would bring out different types of animals for us to like pet.
Mm-hmm.
So so basically, they brought out I think they brought out a porcupine. They brought out a porcupine. They told us to do this and pet it with the back of your hand. Don't like go for the pins and whatnot.
Yeah.
They brought out a porcupine. They brought out a parrot. Now I know it was called a macaw. So they
Those
brought
are
out one of
really
those.
unique too. Did you know macaws will only bond to one human being in their entire life? That's why rehoming a macaw is so hard. They could spend more
Hmm.
than half of their lives in a shelter because the person who had them before is no longer alive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm sorry,
And
my ADHD brain.
no, no, it's okay because like I said, I like learning. So also they brought out a bunch of different types of animals. They brought out like this, I don't know what it was. It was like this. I want to call it a rat, but I know it wasn't a rat. But it was real fluffy, and we all that was all our favorite animals to pet. But then they brought out the python,
Oh yeah,
and
probably a Burmese too. Big, big, big.
yeah, it was big, it was
Yep.
huge. So at first, when I saw it, I'm like,
That was your first in-person interaction with a snake?
yes,
Oh
yes,
boy.
yes.
How old were you?
And I had to be about 8, 9 years old.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah.
Oh
So
shit.
so we all sitting in a circle, and they bring
I'm
out
sorry.
this snake, and it has like it takes like two people to carry it, and I'm like, okay. So they're like,
Oh
just
god.
be very gentle. It's just gonna smell you. So
Uh-huh.
me, not knowing that snakes smell with their tongue, right? It smells me, and I'm thinking it's trying to eat me. So I
Oh
immediately start
shit.
crying.
Oh. Oh.
And over the years, I've had this thing with snakes. I'm like, listen, me no like it. Nope, not doing it.
Oh
Like
my
I'll
god.
go to the zoos and I'll look at the snakes, but I'll like stand like 10 feet away from them. But
See,
me
I'm so
seeing,
sad about that for you because you seem very inquisitive and like snakes. There's a million things for each new species to learn about these animals. Like from
Mhm.
this guy to gopher snakes to milk snakes to water snakes to garter snakes. They're so different in so many different ways. It's so cool. So that
I
kind of
actually
stinks.
I actually have a question for you that I've been wanting to know, and I've never Googled this a day in my life. So
Hmm.
garter snakes.
Hmm.
Somebody told me that garter snakes do not bite. Is that true?
Most of the time, they don't. Most of the time they're a docile non-bitey breed, or not breed but species of snake. They're relatively chill. However, that depends on the situation, that depends on the snake, that depends on the environment, whether or not they're eating, if they're pregnant, if they're, breeding season. Honestly, garter snakes and water snakes are the most intellectually complicated snakes that we know of existing right now. These are snakes that actually actively seek out communities of each other and have favorites and people other snakes they don't hang out with, and all sorts of stuff. Like, so when you're talking about garter snakes, you are talking about a very unique species of snake. And so that's extremely situational, as much as it would be like by person, a person by person basis. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like
Okay.
with ball pythons, a great generalization is most of them are like this guy. Most of them are like this guy.
Okay.
Give me your face.
Ooh.
Give me your face. You're so cute. See? Most of them are like that.
You should have saw my face. Like
I
I'm
saw your
like,
face. I can see it. I know you're like, oh my God.
I'm
That's
like,
how most
girl.
people look when I do that, but I do that for a reason. And that's actually a part of when I take them out in public. That's actually part of how I educate people in public. When you notice like somebody touches one of their faces and they're like, oh my God, that's called being head shy. And what it is they're afraid that you're going to crush their tiny little face in your hand because you could, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
they're like, oh God, no. Oh God, don't hurt me. Oh my God, I'm terrified. But this guy has been touched on his face so much that he just don't care because he knows
He's
I'm not
he,
gonna.
he's a cute snake.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah.
adorable. That's most people's first pets. Snakes are ball pythons because they're a really chill breed of snake or species of snake. They're extremely calm and they're
Mm-hmm.
adorable. Most of them look like this, and they're just cute, derpy little goopers. You know.
Okay.
But yeah, garter snakes are very situational because they're a very intelligent snake.
Okay. Okay.
But I've never been
Okay.
bitten by one. I've picked up hundreds of garter snakes in the wild and never been bitten. However, my boyfriend says he's been bitten by every single one he's ever picked up in the wild.
Mm.
I don't know.
All right.
Ribbon snakes are much less likely to bite you, which look a lot like garter snakes in the wild. They're just a little bit skinnier and have a few different details for pattern. Most people mistake them for each other.
Okay. So I've heard of the snake that's in Florida, but I don't know what the actual species is. And maybe they call them black racers.
That's the species. It's a racer.
Oh, oh, okay, okay,
Yeah, we've
all right.
got black racers and blue racers all over the country.
Oh, all right,
They're
all
native
right.
to North America. They're beautiful. Blue racers are gorgeous. They look like a gummy snake. The blue that touches their sides looks like they're made of
Mm-hmm.
candy.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they're really cool. They're stupid fast. That's a bitey species of snake. Now, I'll definitely tell you when I pick one of them up, and you're probably going to get nipped on a few times. And musked. They're gonna stink too. They're gonna make a
Oh,
smell. They just died all over you.
mm-hmm.
It's
Okay, okay.
and it takes a lot to wash your hands off. And I'll tell you, the ones that eat mammals like him have a way stinkier musk than the ones that eat fish like the garter snakes.
Okay.
Way
So,
stinkier.
do all snakes have musk?
Yep.
Hmm,
Yep.
okay.
It's a self defense mechanism. It's like pooping or peeing on a person, but it's a little bit different.
Oh, okay, okay.
It does
Yes.
produce a I just died on you smell. It's pretty grody.
Okay. Listen, for those of you watching, listen, I'm learning just like y'all. So I'm
Here,
learning
let
just
me go
like y'all.
swap a snake out real fast. This guy looks like he's getting ready to just be all over the place. So
Look, she's about to change her snakes like Fortnite skins. Look.
look, he's so cute. Say bye, Hoodoo. Actually, I'll show you how he got his name. Where's he at? There it is. This is his hoodoo skull right here. See it?
Oh
There.
wow. I
So that's how
actually
he
do
got his
see
name.
it.
Yep.
Hoodoo.
And then the rest of his alien heads look kind of similar to skulls across the top. See? Creepy
Oh,
ghost faces.
that's
So
pretty cool.
I shall BRB.
But yes, people, she's a very she's an exotic breeder, and let's see which one she brings out next. Let's see. But while she's bringing back her beloved pet snakes, I would like to take this time to give y'all a chance to on Halloween. We have two shows coming up. We have Hashigata returning with her album drop at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we also have Anime Talk with my co-host Miko, and she will be dropping her episode also on Halloween. Which we'll call it October 31st at 12 p.m. So tune into those. Is that a
So this one
rattle?
makes a lot of noise. This is my gopher snake, the one I was telling you about.
Yes.
So they're easily terrified. And instead of just like, oh God, I'm scared. I gotta hold her back a little bit. I told you she will bite. She'll calm down in a second. But
Ooh, that gave
this
me
one is
chills.
only, yeah, she's only a year. No, she's like 2 years old now. So she's only two. She's about 3.5 foot. She will
Hmm.
be about 6 foot, full, 6 to 9, fully grown. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I've had her about a year, and the first time I've ever been able to hold her around my neck was 2 days ago.
Oh boy.
I haven't been able to trust her near my face yet. She just mucks on me. She smells so bad right now.
Mm,
So they start with the musking to see if you're grossed out enough to drop them.
mm. Okay.
So that it's so that something will hopefully think they smell bad enough not to want to eat them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's a
Oh,
gopher snake. She is called a Lahitas patternless. She's super cute. Look how grumpy and adorable. I'm trying to see if I could get her so you can see the pink on the side of her mouth, but probably not. Oh my god, chill, bitch. Well then bite.
yeah.
You're so
Yeah.
cranky.
She's not happy.
There you go. So
She's.
they're actually a species that uses those hisses to communicate with each other.
Hmm.
Look at
So
that really
so
pretty pattern.
yeah, I see it actually.
So technically, this is a patternless. She actually just has all these streaks down her sides and no real pattern.
It's kind of like I'm comparing it. You ever seen a banana?
Hmm.
It looks kind of like that, like the with the brown spots in it. That's what it kind of looks
Yeah.
like.
So in the right light, you can actually tell that those spots have a shit ton of red and pink and purple in them, and might be able to see a little bit of it now if I get her up close enough. There you go.
Yeah, I see a little bit of it actually.
Yeah, a little bit of that pink purple color. She's gorgeous. Um, yeah, they're a little saucy.
Yeah, a
Actually,
little.
that talking is the reason I wanted them so badly. That they're on my list of favorite species of snakes. This top of the list is the Pituophis. That's these guys.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
they have a lot of recognition and attention already.
Hmm.
So that's why they didn't get chosen in my what would you breed when you asked me before.
Okay, okay. So now there's another breed of snake that I do know oh too well because my dad made me watch the movie. The anaconda.
Yeah.
Like, are those snakes breedable to
Yeah,
you?
people breed them. There's a oh my god, there's a gorgeous tall redhead lady who breeds just anacondas, and she has some of the most beautiful anacondas in the world, and she has the first morphs.
Hmm. And
She's
what
pretty
would
cool. I can't remember what her name was, but she's a redheaded lady that breeds anacondas. I'm pretty sure you could Google her and find her pretty quickly because there's not very many people who breed them. Mostly
okay.
because across the United States, it's been outlawed by most of the game and fish commissions in most states to even own them, let alone breed them. So,
Hmm. Is that like the world's biggest snake or
yeah,
oh
yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That snake definitely makes the biggest snakes, as far as we know
Yeah.
right now. You know,
Yeah.
and she
Because
calms down. This is why I have to hold her more because when she's 9 foot, her head's going to be as big as my hand, and that reaction of hissing and throwing herself at me is going to be a lot more dangerous.
difficult to handle. So
Huh.
um what's the biggest snake that you own?
We have ball pythons. We have a Volta ball python. Her name is Nagini, and she is really big. She is over 6 foot. You want to trade me and bring me Nagini? He wants to see what the biggest snake we've got is. She's a gorgeous girl. That one, oh my god, she's amazing. She's Volta ball pythons are super rare in this inside the country in most places
Hmm.
because a lot of people didn't even know they existed as a locale, and they're way bigger. Yeah, here you go. See, she's not a fan of my honey. This is Nagini. This is an over 6 foot ball python, which is extremely rare. You will not see them this big most of the time. Hello, my sweet doll. Here you go, my sweet doll. And she is just as much a sweet doll as the other one. She's just really big.
Yeah, I can
Now,
see.
she is head shy. We do not touch her head because she is head shy. And
Okay.
I have a healthy respect for how big her mouth is.
Yeah.
If you want to
But
know, this one will hurt me. The other one hurts for a second, but not long. The one that was just I just had honey. This one will hurt.
mhm,
This one will tear your skin open if she bites you.
okay.
This
Yeah.
is real injury from that mouth.
So would you consider her the most dangerous snake that you have?
No,
No.
garter
Okay.
snakes are and water snakes are actually venomous. So if I
Oh.
had to go by danger, I would consider my garter snakes the most dangerous because while most people don't have a reaction to their venom, if you're allergic to their venom, you're going to react really badly.
Kind of like a person who's allergic to bees.
Right. So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So I would say the garter snakes are probably the most dangerous snake in the house if we had to put a label on it. You see her, this sweetheart would just like, do you have food? That would be her mistake. Thinking you have
Okay.
food. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not going to bite you for no reason. You got to do something to her. And he bought her from a pet store pre abused, and she's never bitten us. And
Okay.
when he
Okay.
bought her, they told him that they hadn't been able to get rid of her because she was aggressive and bit everyone.
Hmm.
She's never bitten anyone. Look at her. She's a little head shy, but you see the back up when she went and when she touched me, how she
Yeah.
backed her head up a little. Yeah, so she's a little bit head shy, but she's not by any means a dangerous snake. Now, could she choke the life out of me? Yeah, probably. But the
Probably.
likelihood
Yeah.
of that is extremely low. She's not going to put that kind of, look at how big and fat and lazy this girl is. She ain't putting that kind of effort into that unless she thinks she's
Hmm.
getting food out of it. She knows damn well she ain't getting food out of me.
So my next question for you, um, I've seen articles of like I think it was a woman. She used to sleep in the bed with one of her snakes. Which one is that? Who's that?
This is another ball python. This is a boy.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
like him.
hubby actually has a better answer for that question about the lady with the sleeping with the snake. You're
Yeah.
asking about sizing you up, right? The
Yes, yes.
myth that people believe that snakes size you up for food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
There are a few gigantic species of snake, like anacondas and reticulated pythons, that have displayed that behavior in the wild.
In the
Yes.
wild.
But that story about that woman is completely made up and fabricated.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Over the internet.
Yes. That's a completely false story.
Yeah.
And the likelihood of your pet who has never went without food and would not know at all what hunger actually feels like doing that is like we're talking 0.0005% likelihood that that's going to actually happen to you at
the
home.
danger of what that lady was doing, sleeping with a snake in the bed, is if the temperatures ever dropped in her room, that snake would probably coil her for her warmth,
so that it didn't die.
And then that could be harmful.
Yes, because remember I just said that the other snake could choke the life out of me if she wanted to, if she needed to, because she's big enough around my neck. One this size could do that to us. But
Okay.
the likelihood of them doing something like that without legitimate reason is it's not going to happen. Like he said, that the only real danger that you have sleeping with your snake that requires heat is if it's big enough to choke you out and it gets too cold one night.
Okay. So this is another question.
Anything could happen on top of that, though.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
true.
So this is another question for you that I have. Well, it's more so of a personal question because seeing you with these snakes, I kind of like what advice would you give? What advice on what type of snake would you give to someone that wants to get a snake?
The
Like for
first
a
time,
first, like for a
very
first
first snake
time.
ever. Okay,
Yes.
there are a couple of suggestions that I have, and some let's clear this ups. Ball pythons are a great first snake. Absolutely fantastic first snake. They're majorly low maintenance. They are very, very hardy. Look at this dude. He's just so cute and lovable. I can even wiggle him around. And he's upset about it, but at most, he's gonna like continue going forward.
Is he?
Here, baby.
Oh,
Will you bring me Bo? So then there are like I would say garter snakes are a good first time pet snake, but do your research. That is not a snake that you just get and you bring it home and you put it on Aspen and you don't worry about it. Those snakes require a bioactive enclosure and they need everyday access to fish, depending on how old they are, or worms, depending on how old they are. This is a milk snake, which is a good first time pet. However, Bo is a absolute darling. Okay, there's no head shyness about this little gal either. She don't care about none of it.
She's irritated with you, but
okay.
No give a fucks. Okay. Bo is not your average milk snake. All right. Now they're really hardy species. They're really good. They're great for a first time pet if you're looking for hardy, but these are typically known for being very, very hungry all the time and biting their handlers because they smell food.
Hmm.
Keep in mind, she is fantastic because this room is filled with mice, her food source. And
Yes.
I'm not getting any, like, you see me messing with her face and all that shit. We're not getting
Hmm.
any food response. right? I would say that ball pythons are going to be your number one as a first time pet snake to like acclimate yourself
Corn
to
snake.
caring for one. Corn snakes are fantastic. They're another colubrid.
Rat snake.
Rat snakes are good, but are kind of bitey. So if you're not prepared to be bitten, like if we're talking, I would like to, like, from the perspective of, I've never had a snake and I'm also a little bit scared of a snake. Okay.
Hmm.
Ball python.
Definitely.
Ball
Okay.
pythons, corn snakes, ribbon snakes. Because ribbon snakes are just like garter snakes, but they can eat small mice without really jacking up their system too much. And they're notorious for not biting for pretty much anything.
Hognose is a good one too.
But hognose is venomous, and we are finding out they need more specialized care than people knew. So,
Okay. Okay.
as a first time pet owner, I would say those are your good go to snake species. But they're
Okay.
not the only good go to first time reptile species out there.
Okay.
Like,
And what would you recommend for a first time reptile species?
in general, leopard geckos are fantastic. Um, Bearded dragons are good.
Crested geckos.
Crested geckos are good. Yeah. Bearded dragons are really excellent. That's a nice medium-sized lizard that, like, gets big enough to hang out, and they love to chill. Mine goes on car rides. Like, Pancake has videos on my TikTok of her sitting on the dashboard and we're going down the highway. Yeah, the dispensary I have a medical card where I live. So I take him with me to go pick up my medicine, or her, sorry. She laid
Okay.
eggs. So I take her with me. Sometimes I take them with me as well. So yeah, bearded dragon's a really good one because they're really personable and they're kind of hard to make unpersonable, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like you can go a minute without handling them. Although I would warn people, bearded dragons, some of them have a brumation period, which is it's like hibernation, and it's a time period where reptiles settle down almost like hibernating, but they'll come out when it's slightly warm or if they wake up a little bit. Bearded dragons brumation can last up to 6 months, and that makes them really boring for part of the year. So if we're talking just adults, yeah. Parents, I would recommend a parent not get a bearded dragon for their child unless they are prepared to make sure they are checking on that animal every single day for the 6 months that it could be asleep, because it's not going to eat or drink or anything. But the second it wakes up, you need to make sure it's got food and water. Other than
Okay.
that, like, I don't know, they're not too complicated. Fish are good too.
Okay. Okay. So moving off the topic of reptiles and animals, but we're
Mhm.
going to come back to it. Um, what got you into Fortnite?
My son, my 11-year-old son loved the game. And like a year ago, he had been begging me for a year. He was like, Mom, I want you to play this game with me, please. And I was like, I really don't game. I've got a lot of like childhood trauma kind of attached to video games, and then like adult DV from my last
Hmm.
relationship trauma that's kind of tied to video games. So it was really difficult for me to let myself like sit down and play games for.
Hmm.
That's why the streaming games is such a big deal to me, because I've never been able to do stuff like that. But he was like, Mom, I want to play this game with you. Please, please try it. And I was like, this doesn't look like a game that I'm going to like, dude. And so for like a year, I was like, no, no. And then he goes, Mom, please. And I was like, okay, it's the middle of winter. I need something to do with you to bond anyway. Okay, let's play this game. So we
Hmm.
start playing the game, and I fucking fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. It was so much fun, and like learning how to play it was so much fun. I love playing it with my son. And then he stopped playing with me because I was really bad at it. So, because he's 11 and has friends who are better at it than me. So the novelty's off now, right?
Hmm.
So he would stop inviting me for matches. So then I started just playing by myself for a while. And I still really, really liked it. And I started getting better at it so that he would play with me. Then I got to the point one day my boyfriend was like, babe, you should stream this. And I was like, what? And he was like, you should stream this. Like, people would watch you play Fortnite. I was like, nobody's going to watch me play Fortnite, like in my jammies half the time. Like, bullshit. 1,000 people have signed. There it is. Thanks. 1,000 people have signed up on my to as added new followers to my TikTok since I started streaming 2 months ago. So that
Wow.
surprised the heck out of me. Yeah, or 3 months ago maybe. I think it was
So
in June or July. July, August, August, I think.
2.5 roofers. But the middle of
so
summer.
Mhm.
what season did you start playing?
Fuck.
Till
Dude, I don't even know because I didn't pay attention to the seasons until this season, this last one. But there
last
was
season when you played.
no, because there was well, yeah, I played last season too, but there was shit, what's it called? Um Avatar: The Last Airbender was still happening. The
Yeah,
Avatar
Uh,
the
stuff.
Avatar season is when you
okay,
started.
okay, okay. I
Yeah, there
get.
was
I
still
know.
water bending and air bending and stuff on the board when I
Oh,
came.
so yeah, so you're fairly recent into Fortnite. So
Yeah, very new in
like
the Fortnite.
like me, I started playing Fortnite when it was in beta. So
Most people that I play with say that they've been
yeah,
playing for quite a long time. My hubby played when it was in beta too, and he quit for a really long time, and he started playing again when I started playing, and
yeah,
when I started streaming, he started playing again, so we could play
y-
together.
yeah. That's what happened with me. Like I started playing in beta, but I quit when like during chapter one, but I started playing again since
The new.
chapter two, season two, and I've been playing ever since. And I just
Oh
recently
shit!
got like a creator code.
Oh
So,
wow!
and I think I was telling you that the other day. Like you should
Yeah, when we were
definitely.
playing, you were telling me that you had discovered that you only needed so many followers on some
uh
platform to have a creator code, and then you could message Fortnite and get it set up.
Yeah, you should definitely get one if you're, especially since you're streaming. I don't stream it just yet, but you
I
should
guess I
definitely
probably
get one.
should. Come here, little
Yeah,
baby
you
snake.
should definitely get one and just promote it. But and who is this little one? That one is very, very small.
Hmm.
Oh, look
And
at
she got the
that
googly
kind.
eye.
That kind of looks like the one that I put in the thumbnail.
Ain't she crazy looking?
Yeah, yeah,
So
I'm
this
gonna
is
call her
Lola.
Google's. Oh, I like that name better anyway.
She got big old googly eyes. So this is Lola. She's actually 2 years old. She's already two
Hmm.
years old. So she's got one more year before I'm able to breed her. And I
Mm-hmm.
just need to get me a 1 year old boy by then. So that's my
Oh,
goal. Sometime next year, I need to get a male for her because this is called a Trans-Pecos rat snake.
oh, okay.
Now, if you want a rat snake that's pretty hardy and easy to take care of and great as far as not bitey or anything, this is a really good first time pet for an adult. These are very thin. You can see how skinny she is. This is a
Yeah,
very thin, ropey, noodly, legitimate noodly shoestring snake,
yeah.
which means they're delicate. Like so they're not for kids at all. But for an
My
adult, this would not be a bad first time snake.
my daughter, she calls snakes danger noodles.
Danger
That's what she
noodles.
called them.
This is the
Yeah,
googly-eyed shoelace.
yeah. The Google. You know, what? I like that. I like that.
You
The
can't even
googly
be
eyed
scared of
shoelace.
her. Look at her. Look when I turn her sideways, she just looks like an old lady with her mouth. She got like old lady jaw. Get over there so they can see you. Look at you. Oh, where's your teeth, Grandma?
You can't like you really can't be scared of her.
Mm-mm. That's why I try to have them on live and I try to take them out in public because like you went from being visibly uncomfortable the first snake I brought out to being like,
Hmm.
oh my gosh, what's going on over there?
I'm like, hold on, what's
Like by
this?
the time we get to her, exactly, because you've spent like the last however long, we've been touching her face and all that, and like seeing that they're not as scary. That's why I do that because I want other people to realize there's not really like some snakes. Yeah, there's gonna be an air of like danger, but once you
Yeah.
learn to recognize the difference between the venomous and the non-venomous snakes of your area, there really isn't anything to be scared of. Ooh, googly goober.
No, she goes
Like
walking and hikes in the back. We have a trail behind the
So
house.
funny looking.
She'll go take a walk and come back holding a snake that she brought.
Yeah, I just go diving into the snakes.
yeah, oh, wow. But that is all the questions I have for you. But before we go, I like to do something on this podcast that I like to call podcast twist. Basically, what that is the show becomes your show, and you get to ask me however many questions you feel like asking me.
Okay. Well, like, how long have you been doing podcasts to people? Whoop.
I've been doing podcasting since 2020 when COVID started and everybody just started to find out what TikTok was.
Oh, yeah? Okay,
Yeah,
that's really cool. This is a leopard
definitely.
gecko.
Why are they called leopard geckos?
Most of them have a really cool leopard print spots on them. This one is just, she's special. She's a baldy, so she doesn't have spots. She's got a couple of them on her chin
Hmm,
there and on her tail, and the rest of her is without them. Look at those big old eyes.
okay.
That's what we were talking about earlier when I said what species were a good idea for uh, first time pets, like other than snakes. That's what a
Hmm,
leopard gecko is. And
okay,
their
okay.
tails stay fat. They get fat for how much food you feed them. So, like a skinny tailed leopard gecko is one that needs more food because it's starving to death. They keep all their nutrients in their tails. Most geckos do.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to
You have,
ask that. Like,
yeah,
that-
yeah, most of
that's it.
them do. You have dogs, right?
Yes.
What kind of dogs do you keep?
Uh, well, it's not my dog. It's my friend's dog, but uh, it's a Labradoodle.
A Labradoodle.
Yeah,
Oh, those are fun.
yeah. He's
I
just
used to be
big.
when I was a groomer. Those were the worst dogs.
Hmm. Okay, okay. See now,
They don't.
now I
They don't
want
have good bone structure.
now I want to get my Savannah cat, but I would have to go all the way back to Japan to do that. So
Yeah. Did you have you ever heard of Brazilian possums?
no.
So it's a teeny tiny possum. It's literally this big, like a mouse. Okay, but it's really a possum, like our possums, but this big, and they are so cool. They're nocturnal, like regular possums,
Hmm.
but you can keep them like in enclosures and stuff. And they've been gaining popularity in the exotic animal world. And something I think probably is good to bring attention to is that a lot of people feed them a rodent diet, like they're rodents because they're so small and they look like them. But these are omnivores that actually prefer the meat. So
Okay.
you actually need to feed them insects more than you feed them your little rodent feed that you feed them. But they're pretty cool.
Okay. Okay.
What? So you played Fortnite, right?
Yes.
You've been playing for a long time, you said?
Yes.
How did you get into Fortnite? Just the beta, like, how did that happen?
Okay. So originally I was an Overwatch player. So I was an Overwatch player, like very avid Overwatch player. Like had a main and all that. I played competitive. Um, I made it to diamond rank, and that was like Overwatch was really the only game that I was legit good at. Because I tried
I
Halo, I
feel
tried
that.
Call of Duty, and like Overwatch was just a different type of game. But then my homeboy, he was like, "Yo, they got this game called Fortnite. You should try it." I'm like, "Fortnite?" They're like, "Yeah, it's a battle royale." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" Like, what's a battle royale? He's
Oh
like,
my
it's a
god.
hundred people, it's you versus 100 people, and you have to survive. I'm like, oh, okay. So it seemed new to me. So I got on it, and the first thing I said, I don't like the graphics. I don't like it. Then I got into the match, and I see people like, well, back then people weren't building the Taj Mahal. They were just building like little walls to block you. So I'm like, so I'm shooting
Oh
at
my
this
god,
person,
yes. The
and
Taj
I'm
Mahals.
I'm like, I'm shooting at this person. He's blocking my bullets with wood. Oh, okay. So I started playing it, and then I was like, you know what? I don't really like this. So I stopped playing it and went back to Overwatch. Here comes Chapter 2, Season 2. Fortnite completely changed. The map is more vibrant. They got better weapons and all this stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let me try it again.
That's awesome.
I started playing again, and I've been playing ever since. So
Oh wow.
yeah.
What? How hard was it to get into doing the podcast stuff? Because I've been wanting to, like, I've been wondering if I should start my own, like, on the side of streaming because I've been wanting to do that mental health type of conversations with gamers, but I don't know how to meld that into a podcast situation. Like, I want to do like what we just did. We had like conversation, but while we're gaming, and I want
Okay.
people to be able to see the game and hear the conversation, and also like gamers, I want them to feel comfortable to have the conversation, like to come into the live and sit and play a couple matches and talk about it. And I'm
Okay.
not really
Okay.
sure how to put that out there as like a podcast or whatever. And I'm not sure how do those even do they mesh? Like, can I do a podcast while I stream? Or I guess what's the difference?
Um, to me, I don't see any difference between streaming a game and doing a podcast because technically, right now, if we wanted to, we can set up a camera, point it to our screen, show Fortnite or whatever, and
And be
still
doing
be
both.
doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So, how I got into podcasting was really at first, before I did all the video and thumbnails and stuff, it was all audio and it was just my journal for myself. So I didn't want to write a journal.
Oh.
So I would just talk to myself about things like at the time I was going through a divorce. So I was like, you know what, I want to talk to somebody, but I don't want to talk
Yeah.
to an actual person. So I just started podcasting, and one day I started a conversation, and I accidentally, because usually I just put it in my drafts, but I accidentally published it.
Oh
And
shit.
then, yeah, and on that website, it publishes it to Spotify. And I go on Spotify one day and I had like 6,000 people listening to that 6,000 plays. And I'm like,
What?
um, yeah, so people
How
just
do you
heard me
do
talk
that
about
through
my
Spotify?
people just heard me talk about my ex-wife. Okay, she probably heard that too. So yeah. I mean,
Hey,
I didn't
but you
say
know what? That sounds like you really needed that conversation though, even though it was to yourself. It sounds like that was something you really needed to do, like have that outlet.
yes. So then I started with TikTok, and that's when I started doing like the going into people's lives because at that time, a lot of creators were getting shadow banned. So a lot of their content wasn't being pushed out. So I
I think
said,
I'm
hey,
having that problem, but I'm not really sure how to tell. I know that my videos went from like 400 or 500 views down to like between 20 and 100 and 200. And I'm like, this is weird. I mean, within like a week. It was
yeah,
pretty strange.
yeah, that's what shadow banning is. Like
What the
TikTok basically they take your videos and they don't push it out to all of your viewers, all of your followers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I
so
have
that
2,000 followers and I was just getting to a place where I had like 400 or 500 people at a time viewing those videos.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
And it's all algorithm based. So basically, like what I would do is I would go on these people's lives because this was when I started doing the podcast on Instagram Live. So I
Right.
would be like, hey, you got Instagram? And they would message me. We would set it up and we would just talk. I was like,
Yeah.
you can say whatever you want on this podcast. Um, that podcast turned into it started as just me, no cap with Tay, that was the original name. Then it
Mhm.
became no cap with Tay and T, who is my best friend.
That's how it
Then
became podcast. Right?
yeah, yeah. And
Nice.
then that podcast turned into a whole separate other podcast, which turned into it was called 2 plus 2 podcast. And it was two men, two women talking about various different topics. That was the catchphrase.
That's cool.
And then they all like went their separate ways, and then it became
Oh,
No Cap the podcast with one T, and then that podcast got banned, so it had to become two T's. So
oh shit!
yeah, yeah,
Dang,
yeah. So that's the podcast journey for me, and we've just been podcasting ever since. So
that's
yeah,
crazy.
we have a lot of people that follow the podcast, and they like it, they listen to it, and
Well, I
like
do have a Twitch account, just so anybody, if anybody's curious, and I usually everything I'm streaming on my TikTok, I'm streaming on my Twitch, except for cooking and painting because those are hard to get me to be able to do both because they
yes,
both require two different apps.
yes.
But
But you can stream like if you hmm,
see, I don't want to take away from the gaming aspect of it, but I noticed when people come in and we're talking about things like people are comfortable when we play
mhm,
together. Usually. I usually have people who come in and they're just like, "Oh man, like I'm going through this." And the next thing I know, they're telling me like all these things that they're dealing with and clearly crying out like I'm lonely and I need someone to listen to me and give me space, right? And so like then
mhm.
we talk about those things and I find that a lot of gamers that I play with do that. A lot of gamers that I play with come in and they're like, "Oh, you're so comfortable and chill. I love talking to you." And then we just get into these really deep conversations. And I know that people on my Twitch can hear me, but I think I'm just trying to figure out like how do I take that and is there like another app I need to do it with at the same time? Or I was wondering if YouTube would do it, but people have been having a lot of problems with YouTube muting them lately, so there's that.
You
Um,
can you can have you ever heard of Streamlabs?
mm-mm. No,
Okay,
I'm
you could
so new to this and I'm terrible with technology. I will not even lie. Like getting Discord set up, it's barely running because I don't know how to run it, y'all. That's what's happening
so
with Discord.
so there's Streamlabs, there's what the all the normal streamers use, like Typical Gamer and Ninja and Courage, all of them, they all
Would they
use
be used like, on a tablet or phone?
what Streamlabs?
Mm-hmm.
Um it can, but it's kind of finicky.
Okay.
Um Most streamers, like big streamers, they use OBS, but they also have a PC, so they can
Yeah, see, I'm trying
multi-stream
to.
to different things.
Yeah, we're working on getting a computer at some point. But right now, all I have is this tablet that I'm on and my cell phone, and that's how I've
Okay.
been doing my streaming for the last couple of months. Is like, and
Yeah.
I got like Twitch through my Xbox, so like I stream through my Xbox on Twitch, and then I attach my like I do my TikTok in front of it on a tripod
Hmm.
with the camera, and it shows,
Listen,
both of us.
listen, that's gonna be me because I play Fortnite on my tablet. I play it on my tablet.
You can stream it on TikTok on your tablet too. I've been streaming League of Legends from my tablet lately, and using the Twitch app on my tablet to stream. So
Hmm.
I stream from my tablet with the Twitch app, right, from the game, and then I go
Yeah.
in my phone and I use the TikTok app from my phone to do the mobile gaming, and then I go in from my phone. I also go back into my Twitch on my phone and go into the channel so I can see the video. And that's how I set up my tablet streaming through TikTok,
Okay.
the
Okay.
gaming streaming.
I mean, there's simpler ways for us to do it, but
Yeah, well, it would probably be
yeah,
easier if I had like a computer or something, but
definitely. But
yeah.
I want to thank you for being on the show.
Well, thank you for
Uh,
having me. I've never been on a
we,
podcast before, so I did not know what to expect.
I mean, like I said, it's just a normal conversation. Look,
Mhm.
we have our first comment here from author Nikki Nicole. She's always supporting the podcast, so shout
Aw,
out to you
thank
and
you.
thank you. Um, but once again, we're gonna have to get you back on the show because we got to see some more of your
Absolutely.
pets. We're definitely
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
get you
ready for
back.
it. Yeah, we got a lot of
Um,
animals, so.
yeah. Definitely going to get you back on the show. So this is the time of this part of the show where you can promote yourself. So go on
Oh,
right ahead.
okay. Well, I'm not really good at that. but I have a Twitch account under the same name, Farie3xotic. For you can see it right here. I stream on there. I stream League of Legends, Throne and Liberty, which is my favorite new RPG game. That game is kick ass. It's so much fun, and the graphics are insane. And then I also stream Fortnite. And on TikTok, you can find me under the same name. You can also find me on YouTube, but that one's going to be Fairy Den Exotics. Is probably going to be the best way you find that one. Um, and pretty much, I stream a lot for games. I stream basically anytime I'm on League of Legends. I stream, which I'll be doing later tonight. From League of Legends, and most times that I'm on Fortnite, I'm streaming. So like most days, Monday through Friday, like morning time, 7 to like 10 or 11, um, Central Time, because I live in Arkansas. And then Monday nights, every single Monday night, we do challenge night, which is so much fun. It is me and two other streamers who we get along really, really well, and we become really good friends. I met them through streaming and playing Fortnite, and that they are That Boy Scoots and RPGD, and they're super epic. Tay, you played with them. That's who we were playing with the other night. Um, and challenge night is great. Every single Monday night we do that, like from 7 to midnight Central Time, US Central Time, and it's like we pick a challenge, and then we have to do that challenge all the way through the entire night. But also, viewers can come in to TikTok during the challenge night in the live and give gifts to give bonus challenges and add bonus challenges to us. Like someone a couple of weeks ago had me put a piece of paper over one of my eyes and try to get 4 kills. And we just died. I didn't get kills at all. We just lost that match royally. And in fact, I didn't hit a single thing after I put that over my eye. It was hilarious. But yeah, stuff like that. We do all the shenanigans on Monday night for challenge night Fortnite. And every Sunday morning Fortnite is a thing I do as well, because it's just something I've been doing about like 7 or 8 o'clock a.m. till noon.
Okay. Okay. But once again, thank you for being on the show, and
Thank you so
you
much.
guys, you guys know where to follow her. And just in case you don't, I'm gonna put it right back on
Woo!
the stream here.
Yeah, all the support and love. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us. That was awesome. I love talking
No,
about my animals. I really do, and helping
no
educate
problem.
about
So,
them. So,
so maybe we will definitely do another episode where it's strictly you educating people on taking care of exotic animals.
hey, I have no problem with that. That sounds like fun. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. So once again, thank you everybody for watching, and we are out of here.
All right.